The year 2017 was a tough pill to swallow for Indian cricket fans. First, in June, we lost the Champions Trophy final to Pakistan, a crushing defeat, especially with Virat Kohli and the team in prime form. But honestly, if you ask me what stung the most that year, it wasn't the men's loss. It was the heartbreak at the Women's Cricket World Cup just a month later. Yes, 2017 wasn't just a rough year for the men's team, but also a devastating one for the women's team. Despite an incredible run in the tournament, the Indian women's team fell short in the final against England, shattering dreams of their first-ever World Cup victory. For a moment, it felt like they could succeed where the men's team had stumbled. But no, another ICC trophy slipped through India's fingers. And this wasn't a one-time thing. Despite producing legendary players and dominant performances, the Indian women's team has never clinched an ICC trophy. Why? Why has a nation that has won 6 ICC titles in men's cricket, created iconic moments, and produced cricketing legends struggled to achieve the same for its women's team? Is it a lack of support, poor infrastructure, or something deeper? Let's dive in. Indian women's cricket officially began in 1973 with the formation of the Women's Cricket Association of India, but the journey wasn't easy. While men's cricket kicked off internationally in 1932, women had to wait another 40 years to step onto the field. Their first test match came in 1976 against the West Indies, which ended in a draw. 2 years later, they celebrated their first test victory under Shantha Rangaswamy's captaincy, defeating the West Indies in Pune. But soon after, a momentous event would change Indian cricket forever, the men's team winning the 1983 World Cup. This victory didn't just transform men's cricket. It made cricket the heartbeat of the nation. Aspiring cricketers were everywhere, and legends like Sachin Tendulkar and Mithali Raj emerged. Now, let's not underestimate the achievements of the Indian women's team. Mithali Raj is the all-time leading run scorer in women's ODIs, and Jhulan Goswami holds the record for most ODI wickets. And in modern cricket, stars like Harmanpreet Kaur and Smriti Mandhana rank among the world's best. But despite these individual feats, the team has fallen short where it matters most, winning an ICC trophy. India has reached the finals of ICC tournaments 3 times, the 2005 and 2017 ODI World Cups and the 2020 T20 World Cup. But heartbreak awaited every time. Twice against Australia and once against England. Why does this keep happening? One major reason is the lack of a robust domestic structure. For any team to thrive internationally, a strong domestic circuit is essential. Take men's cricket, tournaments like the Ranji Trophy and Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy ensure a steady pipeline of talent. But for women's cricket, the opportunities have been scarce. Before the Women's Premier League, there wasn't even a proper domestic franchise league. Without consistent exposure, the development of players was stunted. This weak system discourages young girls from seeing cricket as a viable career. With low earnings, limited academies, and minimal media attention, pursuing cricket professionally feels more like a gamble than a dream. Think about it. How many Indian women cricketers can you name? Maybe Smriti Mandhana or Harmanpreet Kaur. And let's be honest, for most, these names pop up more on Instagram reels than on scoreboards. Now, here's a harsh truth. Many fans appreciate women cricketers for their looks, not their game. But if you can applaud their social media presence, why not their performances on the field? If things don't change, if infrastructure isn't strengthened and the audience's mindset doesn't evolve, India risks losing its potential to produce world-class talent in women's cricket. Because at the end of the day, cricket is more than just entertainment. It's a sport, a passion, a legacy. And it's time we treat women's cricket with the same respect and support we give to the men's game. So, what do you think? Can Indian women's cricket turn its fortunes around? Let us know in the comments below. Pressure. It's the one thing that can turn a match on its head. And for Indian women's cricket, it's been the silent killer, especially when it comes to finals. The lack of international exposure and experience, combined with the weight of the occasion, has often led to heartbreaking losses. And let us tell you, it's not just the men's team that has faced this issue. It's been amplified for the women. Let's rewind and look at those finals. In each of them, India was in a strong position, but as the end neared, the pressure seemed to take over, and we choked, much like South Africa's infamous collapse under pressure. It all began in 2005, in India's very first World Cup final. Under the leadership of the legendary Mithali Raj, India faced an unstoppable Australian team, undefeated in the group stages and fresh off a crushing semi-final win against England. Most of us expected Australia to walk away with the trophy. But wait, Australia, batting first, stumbled, posting a modest total of 216 after a shaky start. Suddenly, the game was wide open. India could do this. Even the Aussie fans started to feel the heat. But, in a shocking turn of events, India, after a solid start, collapsed to just 117 runs, losing by 98 runs. A nightmare for Indian fans, no doubt. We had started well, but the chase fell apart, and the pressure of the final took its toll. Fast forward to 2017, the second World Cup final. And what happened? The same story 12 years later. India versus England at Lord's, and this time, we were all hoping for a different outcome. For 95% of that match, India was in control. England set a target of 229, and India was cruising at 205 in the 44th over. Just 29 more runs needed from 30 balls. It was looking easy, but then, the pressure hit. Wickets tumbled. India lost their last 5 wickets for just 19 runs. We were all in shock. One moment, it felt like victory was within reach. The next, India was all out, and England had pulled off the most unexpected win. This trend didn't stop there. The 2020 T20 World Cup final and the 2024 T20 World Cup were similar stories of missed opportunities and underperformance. The 2024 tournament? A devastating exit in the group stages. It's clear, while the Indian women's team has shown immense potential, the challenge of handling pressure, especially in key moments, continues to haunt them. Let's break down the 2 main reasons behind India's choking in crucial matches. First, the lack of international exposure, and second, the inability to handle pressure. And trust me, when you think of India's heartbreaking loss in the 2017 Women's World Cup final against England, these factors are crystal clear. Now, let's rewind to that tournament. In the semis, India stunned the mighty Australians, defeating them with ease, thanks to Harmanpreet Kaur's explosive 171 runs. That performance was a masterclass in high-pressure cricket. But what happened in the final? The shift was palpable. India had the chance, but when it mattered most, they crumbled under pressure, losing to England in a way that still leaves us questioning. Why? Let's compare this with the men's team for a moment. Think back to the 2015 ICC World Cup, where Australia took the trophy. They had players like Michael Clarke, Mitchell Johnson, and Shane Watson, men who had already won World Cups and knew exactly how to handle the biggest pressure moments. Fast forward to India's 2024 T20 World Cup win. Players like Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, and Ravindra Jadeja already had experience handling ICC pressure, and that experience helped India stay calm when it mattered most. This pattern, though, isn't just seen in men's cricket. Women's cricket follows the same trend. Australia's Meg Lanning, Elise Perry, and Alyssa Healy have lifted more trophies than most teams combined. Their experience has created a champion mindset. Sadly, India's women don't have that yet. No Indian female player has an ICC trophy to their name, making it harder for the team to perform when the pressure's on. The other teams, like Australia and England, have the experience of winning, and that's the edge they have over India in knockout stages. But all hope isn't lost. There are ways to improve. For starters, India needs more bilateral series. The Indian women's team has played only 89 international matches over the years, averaging about 17 to 18 games annually. Compare that to Australia's 112 matches and England's 108, and the gap becomes glaring. The Indian team needs more exposure. Another key to improvement? Senators, South Africa, England, New Zealand, and Australia. Playing in these countries has always been tough for both men and women's teams, but it's essential for adapting to those conditions. And don't forget about the technical side. The Indian team needs specialized coaching for batting, bowling, and fielding. Power hitting, better fielding programs, and mental conditioning are all critical to elevate their game. So is there hope? Yes. The BCCI has made strides, creating academies at the national level and launching the Women's Premier League, WPL. The WPL may not have exploded like the IPL, but good things take time. Now, Here's the question for you. What do you think the BCCI should do to help our women's team lift an ICC trophy? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more updates. Thanks for watching.